Breitling have just made some big updates to the SuperOcean Heritage line. I think on paper they might seem small, like if I called my mom and showed her the differences, I think she'd say they're pretty small. But I think anyone who is into watches would say these are some pretty massive shifts, and having them here in the metal, they make a big impact. Some new, smaller sizes have been added, big movement upgrades, and new case sizes and proportions. Here's everything you need to know about this update, and my opinion after being hands-on. If you're new here, my name is Brittany, and on this channel we just talk all things watches. I've always had a bit of a thing for the SuperOcean Heritage. Back before they updated the SuperOcean line in 2022, I found the Heritage was a little bit more balanced and elegant, a bit less tool feeling, while still being a very capable diver. Even now, I love the current catalog SuperOcean, but the Heritage calls to me. It's still the SuperOcean I prefer. And today, or maybe it'll be 2 days ago by the time this gets out, but very recently they have just launched the SuperOcean Heritage in 36mm, and this is freaking tempting. Let's start with the specifications. So I have 3 models in. There is a time and date 40, which has a 40mm case diameter, a thickness of 11.73mm, and a lug-to-lug of 48.2mm. These proportions are magic on the wrist, really great size, and a fairly small wrist-friendly lug-to-lug. So here this one is on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 7-inch wrist. I like this a lot on me, but as per, this looks perfect on his 7-inch wrist. I think this is meant to be on him, just the right amount of strap showing. Back on the specifications, this has 200 meters of water resistance, which is way more than most people will ever need, 20mm between the lugs, and a screw-down crown, although the crown design has been changed. The big news, the big headline, is the movement update to the B31 manufacturer caliber, which is COSC certified with 78 hours of power reserve. I feel like I need to emphasize how big the design updates feel. Like, this isn't just a facelift, this is a case and wearing experience overhaul, feeling a lot slimmer, almost tighter and more compact. For example, the previous 42mm variation has a thickness of 14.35mm, but the new 42mm is 12mm thick, which sounds small, but in the world of watches, 2mm is massive, and you're going to feel it in the best way possible. Moving on to the watch that excites me the most, the 36mm, and oh my gosh, I love this. So, case diameter of 36mm, thickness of 10.4mm, and a lug-to-lug of 42.8mm. On the wrist, this is just so much fun. Here it is on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 7-inch wrist. Controversial opinion, I kinda love it on him. It's actually really cute and almost feels like a mini diver on a larger wrist. But this is exactly what I want from a diver on me. It doesn't feel oversized or like I'm trying to make a larger watch work. This is exactly how it should feel with the right amount of strap showing. These are the exact proportions I've been after. Even though this is smaller, it doesn't sacrifice anything in the spec department. So, still 200 meters of water resistance, ceramic unidirectional bezel, and this is powered by the self-winding Breitling Caliber 10, which is COSC certified. I kinda wish this also had the Breitling B31, but with the B31 caliber being 28.4mm, I think it would be tricky size-wise. And last but not least, we have the chronograph. This is a beast. This is so cool. This isn't the first SuperOcean Heritage to be powered by the B01 movement, but there have been some massive design updates. So, a case diameter of 42mm, a thickness of 14.55mm, and a lug-to-lug of 49.5mm. So this is a big fella, and you definitely feel it on wrist. For me, personally, I am sized out of this. It's too large on me, but I really like it on my husband's 7-inch wrist. It's a bit big, but it looks cool. It feels like a proper tool watch. It feels like you're wearing an instrument, and that's exactly what it is. Still 200 meters of water resistance, stainless steel case material, and as stated before, the B01 automatic movement, which is COSC certified, and approximately 70 hours of power reserve. All of these have great specs. Breitling is always dependable in that department. But for me, the big news is the updated design language and little design and case revisions that make a big impact. If you're not as familiar, the SuperOcean Heritage calls back to the first model bearing this name with the reference 1004, and this is a very faithful tribute, most notably with the spear arrow hands, your hour markers, and mesh bracelet. I think the new updates make it even more faithful to the original. I feel like these really strip it back to the essence of this model. All three have an updated crown. I describe it as an almost onion crown, wider but lower down to the case. Sounds small, but once again, it makes a big difference. The hour indices are now slightly thicker and pointed rather than the previous baton indices, and there have been some big changes made to the hour hand with a chevron rather than a vertical line, once again a faithful nod to the reference 1004. Lastly, the 12 o'clock hour markers have moved from double batons to having a circular layer more reminiscent of the 1957 divers. I don't know if anyone cares about this minutia, but this is the first stuff my eye is drawn to. The chronograph particularly had some big design updates, and once again a lot of them referencing back to the 807, which was the first dedicated dive chronograph, but it still feels like a modern interpretation and not a recreation. So this now has two subdials at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, with the 9 o'clock register being the small seconds, and the 3 o'clock is the chronograph measurement. The pushers are deeply satisfying to push if you're a tactile person like myself. I think there is something to say for the size shrinkage and prioritizing a smaller case diameter and profile. I know everyone's been saying it, this isn't news, but we've been seeing the trend move towards smaller watches in recent years. And I know some people love that, some people hate it. For myself personally, being an elite member of the Itty Bitty Wrist Committee, I love it. But this does seem to be the way general tastes and preferences are leaning, and brands are listening and responding to that. What's awesome about Breitling is larger sizes still remain. They're not going only 36 millimeters. Like the 36 millimeters and the 40 millimeters will appeal to a lot of people with average to smaller size wrists and give a different wearing experience than the SuperOcean Heritage has ever had before. Right, I think we have dissected these as far as we can. Let's have some good old unfiltered opinion. What's good? What's bad? What do I like? What do I dislike? Starting with the good, let's start with what I like. Number one, I really like that Breitling is investing further into the SuperOcean Heritage line and giving it a refresh. It was much needed. This is the first time it's been tinkered with since 2017, which to me doesn't sound like a long time, but it's actually been quite a long time. That's almost 10 years. Number two, I love that they're investing in slimmer case profiles and not ignoring that part of the wearing experience. I think watch thickness is an under-talked about thing, and the slimmer case adds a lot in the elegance department. Number three, 36 millimeters. Yes, please. It is so good. It wears so well on the wrist, and I think this will be great for women particularly. I know there's a big push to make watches not gendered, but painting with big broad brush strokes, women do tend to have thinner, smaller wrists and are underserved in the sporty tool watch department. I love an oversized watch. I have lots of those, but there's absolutely something to say for a well-proportioned tool watch, and I'm so glad this exists. Number four, this rollout has been really well thought through, and you can tell that they're thinking about the larger identity of the SuperOcean Heritage. They have teamed up with Cutler & Gross, which is an amazing luxury British eyewear brand, to create a sunglasses collection dedicated to the SuperOcean Heritage. And they have thought through the details. The tips match the watch's arrow hand, the core wire references the Milanese bracelet, and they feel like they are meant to be worn together. It feels beach, it feels cool, and I love it when watch brands kind of world build and show you this as more than just a watch. It's a lifestyle item, and this is how it can be paired with other things. I mostly like this because I don't have much of my own style, so any help I can get. And last thing I like, number 5, I like that this is tying back to the Heritage models and referencing them in a stronger way, because that's what this model family was always meant to be. Moving on, what I dislike, and the list is short. So it's only one thing, and I've already mentioned it before. I am so jealous that the 36mm doesn't come equipped with the B31 movement. I know this might be too much to ask, but I was just so excited when this movement was unveiled a few months ago. I think it's so cool, and I'm just a little bit jealous. And I think that's my only complaint about these. I'm really excited. I really like these updates. I really like the direction Breitling is heading in. It's exciting. Let's go. But anyways, guys, these are just some of my thoughts. I'd love to know yours in the comments down below. And thank you for your viewership. And thank you to the Pope Tier patrons, whose names will be on the screen right now.